Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, how's everybody doing? Yes, again, and welcome to the Charles Matthews Morning Show. It's me, your host, Charles Matthews, and I got a great show for you. I don't just have one, but I have two great guests coming onto the show. And if you're ready like I'm ready, tell somebody, wake them up. The Charles Matthews Show is on the air. Let's go. Without further ado, please welcome to the show, Sophia and Karina. Give her a big round of applause.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, so I like this. I got two special guests on a Friday, ready to go. So let's go. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Happy it's Friday. Thank you for having us.
Not a problem. So please introduce yourself so everybody knows which one is which.
Go ahead.
My name is Sophia Tate. I am an early childhood educator, resource consultant, and I work supporting people with developmental disabilities in the community.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Karina Langevin, and I am a registered early childhood educator. Been in the field for 20 years, and I am currently actually working on getting my certification in clinical aromatherapy to become an aromatherapy practitioner. So pretty busy.
All right. So before we get into it, I always like to get to know my guests. All right. So tell me a little bit about yourselves. Born and raised, where are you guys from? Are you guys both Torontonians, Bramptonians? Where are you guys from?
I'm from, actually, I was born in El Salvador, but I grew up in Toronto. So, yeah, grew up in Toronto and now living in Brampton.
See, we got a Bramptonian. There we go.
Yes. I was born in Jamaica, came here when I was 4. Grew up in Toronto, then later on moved out into Brampton as well, and enjoying the Brampton area.
Okay. Which part of Jamaica are you from?
Pardon?
Which part of Jamaica?
I'm from St. Mary. I was born in St. Mary.
Okay. You know, half of my audience just screamed out in cheers. All right.
Yeah, St. Mary is pretty popular.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys, did you always wanted to do this? Did you growing up, you said you didn't think of nothing else? You're like, no, this is what we really wanted to do.
To come together and create this great community of ours.
To do what you're doing right now. Yeah. Because
you know what? Funny story. Actually, no, it was an accident. It was a mishap. It was a coincidence. It wasn't meant to be, but it was something that came out of nothing pretty much. I actually met Sophia at a first aid CPR training, and every early childhood educator would know that in order to continue to work in our field, you have to be trained in CPR and first aid. So that is where I met Sophia, and we got together and we saw the plight and the need of our early childhood educators, especially in the province of Ontario. And we looked at each other and we said, do we have something here? And we, I think our brains clicked together and we decided to form the Early Childhood Education Committee of Ontario. And this was right before COVID-19 hit.
Yeah.
Hey, you jumped in right at the right time.
Some people would say this was perfect timing. Other people would say, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
But we wanted to do something to bring to our educators support and a community where they can say, where they can come on to us and say, hey, you know what? We are not getting any help from anyone. What can you guys do for us? So we wanted to be able to create a community, a virtual community, providing resources, tools, advice for early childhood educators in the province of Ontario, as well as all throughout Canada. So we have been getting such great response for this because it's such a huge need for our community and for our early year sector.
All right. So
and like Karina said, we definitely, everything happens for a reason. I was teaching first aid and she happened to be in the group, and we connected and exchanged numbers. And within a week, Karina had called me and said, what do you think about us meeting up and doing some talking? Who would have known that talking would come to this point?
Hold
I
on.
think,
So you're teaching the class.
yes.
She
Oh,
was the instructor. I was the student.
I thought both of you
Yeah.
guys were taking the class together.
No, I was teaching and I think for us, when we actually got together and spoke, we were so passionate about the field. And I know you had asked, did we always think that we wanted to, I guess it would be early childhood educators.
Yeah.
I had no interest in being an early childhood educator. It wasn't until my son was diagnosed with a learning disability that I figured that, you know what, I need to do this for him.
Okay.
So I took the course and never looked back. And, it was 20 something years ago. And we've seen so much and we've seen so little in changes in our field. Sorry,
let me break it down because this is something that I talk about a lot. Okay. When you say early child, let's break people down so people know from what section to what section. Because when someone says early child educator, oh yeah, they do from little kids, 8, 9, like let's break it right down so people understand what we're really talking about. Okay.
So an early childhood educator is an educator that works with children from birth up until 12 years of age. So we have teachers working with children, so that you got infants, toddlers, preschoolers, kindergarten, and school agers. So that's why we go from birth to 12. The majority of the children that are obviously going to be in our sector would be the ones going to before school. So it's preschool. So if you want your children to learn all of the skills that they would need to take further into their school years, they learn them in a preschool classroom. So we give them the basics pretty much, and then we send them out into the world.
And that's a great thing because I don't know if you know the story, but I tell everybody my story. I'm open with my story. Is that me growing up? I was in a learning disability class as well. Back in our days, they called it SLD. All right, and I don't know if you remember those ones. But yeah. And the funny thing is, it's if people don't know and can't help, in the long run, they found out I wasn't supposed to be in that class. We didn't have people like you to really sit down with us and start off and say, okay, how can we help? How can we move on? So if parents are looking for help, how do they know that they should start coming to you? Like, how do they see certain things and go, I think I need a little help?
I think in general, people, when they register their children for childcare, I think it's for a lot of reasons, right? Parents have to work, they can't take care of their kids, or sometimes it's just a matter of, you know what, my kid needs a little bit more structure, a little bit more focus on what they're working for. So when we are sending our kids to school, especially if they have a learning disability or any sort of special need, one of the things parents do is they say, okay, you know what, I can't do this by myself.
Yes.
I need some help. They're looking for changes in the child that they might have not seen with their younger children. And so they're trying to better understand what's going on with their child.
Okay.
I think as early childhood educators, we always ask them to check with their pediatricians, get some information from their pediatricians, and then provide, ensure that you place your children with the right center or home care center.
Yeah.
So it's always doing what's best for your child, because nobody knows your children better than you do.
Yeah, and that's great advice. That parents, it's up to us to do our research as well. Okay.
Yes, that is true. I mean, obviously, we would the partnership that is created between an early childhood educator and a parent is crucial and essential. in order for a child to succeed in their school learning or learning in general, they need to be the parents need to be able to feel comfortable with the educator that is instilling all of these skills into the child. And then it's the educator's responsibility to then take that to the parent and communicate it to the parent so that the parent has a better understanding, because at the end of the day, we are the professionals. We're the ones that know child development. We know behavioral development. We know the signs. We know the triggers for anything to do with children. So parents look to us and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And with our committee, what we're doing is that it's our educators, it's our members that are coming to us, and we're giving them those resources that they will then take back to their parents and say, hey, you know what? Why don't we do this, or why don't we do that? So we're giving them the tools and the tips that then they will then take back to the parents. And then obviously it will trickle down to the most important component here, which is the child's development and the child learning.
Yeah, and let's put this out. Parents, we all think our kids are the perfect. But if somebody,
Charles, they are.
but if somebody tells you something, because we're parents, we're like, what do you mean my child is this? What do you mean? It's not, sometimes, and I had to do it as a father. We really had to listen and say, oh, maybe they do. Okay, I understand. Oh, this is what you think. Okay, and take it as a grain of salt, because like you said, you are the professionals. You guys see something, and then we gotta be like, okay, let's see what she's saying. Let's work on it. Maybe there's something there that I'm not seeing, because we all know, like, oh, my child's perfect.
Yes, exactly. And on that note, just kind of following up on that, is that parents will sometimes say, why can't my child do this? So and so's child is doing this. How come my child's not there? Right. So we kind of have to deal with all of that. But for us, I mean, we've respectively been in the field for over 20 years. I myself, my field has taken me to work in Singapore as a kindergarten teacher. So I was able, as an educator, to go see what other cultures and other children are, the ways of schooling is in parts of Asia and Southeast Asia. And it was great for us to be able to bring that back and then be able to continue being that resource to the parents to say, hey, you know what you think is wrong, what you think you're doing is wrong in terms of parenting really isn't. You're just kind of it's an ebb and flow. You have to ride with it. And that's why we, as early childhood educators, that's what we're here for. We're here to support you. We're here to be your sounding board. Because sometimes some parents don't have anyone else to turn to but their child's educator. And so we need to be able to say to parents, hey, you know what? Come to us, let us know what you're struggling with, and let's work together to get you out of that so you can have some victory at the end of that struggle.
Yes, definitely. All right, so what we're going to do right now, if you need some information, please give them a call, 905-453-5038. That's 905-453-5038. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to dive into your website, see how people can get to know you, all the stuff that you do. Plus, I always like to have my guests give us some tips. So when we come back, we're going to get some tips from you guys on what we need to do, some little secret stuff that maybe nobody knows about. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
CMJ Entertainment is a one-stop shop. CMJ Entertainment helps people do any type of events, and it's a marketing tool as well. So we'll cover everything from start to finish. If it's a wedding, we'll make sure your wedding is over the top. And if it's an event, we make sure that everybody gets information at the end of the day. Give us a call at 416-414-8964 or online, go to cmjent.com.
Yes, we're back live with my special guests, Sophia and Karina. Now, before we went to break, I always like to pick my guest's brain on what little triggers we can do. So, for example, a parent has a newborn. Is there like little things we can do ahead of time before we put them into school to teach them about, letters or numbers, or what little tricks can we do to help our kids at home, to do little stuff?
I think one of the biggest things parents can do before their child starts childcare is to connect with their children. I think a lot of us don't understand the importance of that connection, that bond, allowing your child to be a child. And and then going from there. Whether your child has a disability or not, I think as parents, we forget at the end of the day, they're children. They need to be able to feel welcomed, engaged, that they're loved. And that's how they move on to childcare and they progress, right? That natural bond between mother, father, child has to be in place for proper development to start. And I think that's one of the most important things, is that connection, that love, that your children know that no matter what they do, you're going to support them for their development to move on, to progress.
All right.
And just to add on to that, it's okay to make mistakes. A lot of parents have this fear of, am I doing it right? Is this the right choice? Is this the right thing for me to do? The answer to that is, you at the end of the day are the parent. That is your child. You know what's best for your child. If you feel at all that that you don't have the support, or you have no idea where to go or where to turn, that's why we are here. The Early Childhood Education Committee of Ontario is starting, we are just going to launch this, Charles, is our in-home learning service for parents, because we want to be able to bring in an early childhood educator into the homes, because there's a lot of parents out there that are very, very afraid. And especially in the times that we are now, nobody dares to want to set foot into a public space or a childcare center at this moment. And that is why we have worked with so many parents, thousands of parents in our career. So we know we kind of have the backstory of how to work with parents, because we know what parents need before the parents know they need it, because we're the professionals, right? So that's why we're creating on our website, we're creating a parent community page where they will get all those tips, little tips, Charles. They'll get all the secrets from that. So that is coming soon. We're actually launching that in about 3 weeks' time, parent community. So at www.ecec-on.ca, you will get the parent community page where Sophia and I and the rest of our team will help parents navigate through the world of early childhood education. So they'll get to know everything, the ins and outs. And if they need help at home, they would give us a call, 905-453-5038, and we will be there and we will talk to somebody and we'll get you the help that you need, the support that you need for your in-home learning.
All right. So I'm going to call my mommy right after this show. Hi, Mom. Love you. Thanks, Mom, for everything. All right.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes they want to hear it, whether it's just a hug or a wink or a little, just a squeeze of the hand. Say, hey, thank you. Trust me, children will appreciate it. They appreciate the parents. They appreciate you.
All right. I over squeeze my children. It's your fault. All right. No, but that's great advice. And that's what people need to hear. And especially, I'm going to go off a little bit. I remember when we had our first child, you hit it on the nose. What do we do?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this is the right person. I'm handing my child over. Wait, who are you again? Okay, are we making the right decision? And then we stand at the door for half an hour. Okay, it's okay to go in. Meanwhile, the child looks at you, looks at the rest of the kids, and the child runs into the room, doesn't even remember that you're standing there. You're like, wait a minute. I'm the one that's panicking, and my child's in the classroom having fun with all the other kids and doing stuff. So you're right.
That's right.
Most times,
separation anxiety is huge for the parent.
Exactly. Not the child.
Not the child. Trust me. As soon we have been at the end of the door that's closing as the parent is walking away and the child is left behind. Yeah. The mom or the dad will see the child wailing at the door. No. But as soon as the parent has completely left their vision, the kid turns around and says, okay, what do I do now?
I love it.
All right. That's another secret.
That's another secret. Yeah.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, if you're a first time, trust me, let them go. And then the more you stay at the door, listen, kids are very smart. They're like, wait a minute, if I cry 2 more times, daddy's going to run. Okay, let me test this out. Okay, if I cry 1 more time, mommy's going to come back and give me a treat. So hey,
That's right.
yeah.
They know you better than you know them.
And you know what? At the end of, we're not saying it's going to be easy, because I see it with kindergarten kids as well, right? The first day they're going to kindergarten, they might have spent time in childcare, and you know, it's a new transition for them, and they get to that gate and the gate is closed, and then they're thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I better bolt, right? And you see them dash for that gate, and you're just like, oh, I can't let them go. But you know what? Little by little, you teach them that, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to come back for you. I will always come back for you. And it's just coaching them and guiding them. And you know what? Loving them.
After a while, your kids are gonna be like, okay, Dad, stay at the door.
Yeah, they're a pro. They're like, you know what? I'll get out of the car. You just drive away because I'm gonna go have myself some fun.
Exactly. All right, let's get to this website. Here we go. One more time. For more information, you can go straight to the website. Here's the location that I'm on right now, and then you can actually email them. So we're gonna go through this. It's a full information site. Okay. So if you're looking for different information on what's going on, there are their partners, and they have a lot of great partners on the site as well. So if you're looking for a little bit of information, you know, take your time. This is what I always tell somebody. The information you need is on the site. Okay. So you have everything to look at events, you know, what things that are coming up. They're going to have events page. You can register as well. It's simple. You can go right there, get some information on what you need. Okay. Also, there you go. The wall of friends. I like that. I like how you call it the wall of friends. Okay. Because
well, they are our friends. They definitely, because they have heard our mission of providing resources to early childhood educators, they have decided to step up and say, what can we do to support them? Because a lot of people think that early childhood educators get the same respect as, let's say, school board educators. And in fact, we don't. We don't have any support, just in terms of, like, we created a savings program strictly for early childhood educators so that they are able to take their perks card and go to any retail store and get some form of savings. Because our early childhood educators are undervalued, underpaid, and overworked, the ECEC-ON is doing our part. We're doing our part to be able to give back to our educators something that will help them in their life, in their livelihood.
Yeah. And I think, you know, one of the things we also want our community to know is that don't be afraid. If you have a child with a learning disability or developmental disability, Karina and I, between us, we have a lot of training, a lot of knowledge. We are not afraid to match early childhood educators with families who are seeking this particular area of support. We want families to know that we will do what we can to help them so their children gain skills and knowledge and move on to progress through society. We don't believe there's anything that, you know, people should not say, this is a child that we can't help. That should never come out of somebody's mouth. Every child has the capability of learning and developing. And they just need people who understand how they learn and how they develop. So don't be afraid that we're going to turn around and say, no, we can't help you. We will find a way.
Yes.
And let me just add this. Everybody knows this story because I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it again. Kids sometimes need an outside teacher. For me, hey, Mr. Livingston, that is my old grade 8 teacher. And to this day, we still talk to each other on the phone. We still go out because somebody in my life was different, took the time to take care and see the potential in me. And he's the one that made me go to that next level. So you know, you two might be that teacher for another child. So
we sorry to interrupt, but we actually are the building blocks for child development, in the sense that we are the ones that are building that self-esteem, building the life skills that they will need, because a child needs to, in order for you to be able to walk, you got to be able to crawl first. So we got to take it step by step. So we are at stage 0, and we're building that child up. So we're laying that foundation. And so that when they're ready to go into the school board, they already know the skills that the basic skills, they will already have that mastered, and that will build the child's confidence walking into their first day of kindergarten in the school.
Yeah, 100%. They'll walk into the classroom and go,
I got this.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
been there, done that. What? Oh, give me
Right.
something new. Like, hey, let me talk to the
Yeah.
principal. Principal, what's going on?
Yeah.
With this? You know what I mean?
You gotta change some stuff. I know some stuff that you don't. I got the inside scoop.
Yeah, Sophia, they already taught me all this earlier. Let's go to the next level.
Exactly. So we're definitely we're that foundation that parents, children, and future educators build off of.
And we love what we do.
Yeah.
I think we're both passionate about what we do.
I can see that part. Totally see that part. You love it. You smile every time you mention about the kids. You smile every time you hear about, parents and letting them go. I can see that twinkle in your eye. You've been there, you've done that. So definitely give these beautiful ladies a call. They know what they're doing. They're passionate about it. Here it is, 905-453-5038. That's 905-453-5038. Or give them an email. Say, hey, I saw you on the show. I got a question for you. How do I do A, B, and C? There's the info right there. And if you want to check out their website, real simple. All right.
Couldn't get any simpler than that.
So, but before we let you guys go, we have this thing on my show. It's called the Queen Wave. This is your opportunity to do the Queen Wave and say hi to anybody out there that you want to say hi to. This is your opportunity to shout out all your family and friends and do the award show, okay? So you just won the award. Go ahead.
Oh,
do your thing.
Goodness.
Oh, my.
Well, I'd like to thank, you know what? Shout out to all our educators right now. We are going through unprecedented times. Our educators are struggling out there, and with the lack of support from our government for this particular sector for our educators, I want to personally say to our ECEs out there that you are not alone. You have support. The Early Childhood Education Committee of Ontario is here for you. And for the parents that want to put their children in childcare or are afraid or don't know what to do, give us a call, send us an email. We will direct you to the proper channels that you need in order to be able to get you the learning that you want for your children at the stage that you are in.
All right. Don't let COVID stop you. Don't let COVID scare you. You have these ladies here that know how to navigate through the system. Gotta do what you gotta do. All right, Sophia, let's go. Who you thanking? Everybody.
I'm thanking the support of Karina. I'm thanking my family for putting up with my craziness, my crazy schedule. And if I could give one tip out there to parents, I think we love our children as they are, and we help them by building on the skills that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'm not going to lie, it's not easy sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's going to be all worth it.
Yeah.
It's going to be all worth it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You guys were fantastic. And I can see, like I said before, the love for what you do. So keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you.
Stay tuned. So everybody, we'll see you later. Be kind to everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice. The opinions contained within are solely those of the interviewers and interviewees and should be received as so. Those seeking help or advice are encouraged to obtain professional legal and